Hey, you guys, thanks for listening to this episode of Tips with Tea. On today, I had Miss Shavonne with us. Hey, Miss Shavonne, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Tiara?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being a guest on the show. So tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yes. Well, I am a brand ambassador, event manager, and speaker. I've been working as a brand ambassador for over 20 years, freelancing in experimental marketing. So that's something I really enjoy doing. And on the side, I have my own business called Savvy Global Brands, where I specialize in social media management, virtual assistant, brand consulting, public speaking, and event management.
Awesome. Awesome. So you got a lot going on. So tell us about your journey of becoming an entrepreneur. Like was that journey for you?
Yes, so basically, when I was 17, my mother really insisted that me and my brother open up a recovery home. This is something I really want to do, but I was like, okay, me and my brother gonna put a business together to help recovering addicts. And at that time, it allowed me to learn how to put a LLC together, get that registered, and also consult someone to write us a grant.
Mhm.
So although me and my brother didn't go along with that business, couple of years, several years later, which around 2019 is when I initially wanted to open up my own business, which I was like, let me do accessories because I love accessories. And so I opened up a business called Everlasting Collection, where I sold jewelry, handmade candles, and also t-shirts. So
Mhm.
that's something I really wanted to do. And this was right before the pandemic. And I was able to get with a local business program that allowed me to structure my business, get my business plan together. And I went through a couple of local business programs, such as Prosperous Detroit. That's a local business program that allowed local residents of Detroit to get their business plans together,
Mhm.
which I did that program. And then I did another program with Build Institute. I did a business class there. And I took a couple of classes, and also it was another organization called Bamboo Detroit, which allowed me to have my own business address there. So I was able to have my own business address just in case if any of my clients or if I needed business mail to go to a business address, I had an address to use. So that was very useful. Most places, you either have a business address because you have a brick and mortar, or that was a very convenient place that allowed us to do that. So once I took those programs right before the pandemic, I did a couple of vendor events. I said, okay, this will be a great opportunity for my business to build up my clientele. I get to be out in public. And I really was excited because I did like at least like 3 or 4 vendor events. I was getting in the groove of it. And then right before I was getting in the groove of it, I got the opportunity to want to be a vendor at the Eastern market. And that was a very big thing here in Michigan, where a lot of vendors, they have big events there where a lot of vendors can showcase their businesses and sell their items. And I'm like, this will be really good for me. I was so excited. Then that's when the pandemic happened. So that's been my journey so far. And I would like to tell you more about what I do currently. But that's my first business that I went into. And now I'm focusing on my business, Savvy Global Brands.
Yeah. So that's the next question I was gonna lead into. Because that was before the pandemic. So how did you pivot during the pandemic to get the business that you have now?
So during the pandemic, I really was like, okay, so what am I going to do? I don't want to focus on the business that I had before
Mhm.
because I wanted to be out in public. And, at the beginning of the pandemic, we couldn't be in public.
Mhm.
And I knew because of the type of business that I had jewelry. I didn't have my audience, my client base yet. And I said, well, what can I do to allow me to move in another direction? So I started researching, trying to meet with what I discovered was a brand strategy. This young lady that I've been looking into, and her name is just Erica. She's from Illinois, and she's a brand strategist, photographer, and web designer. And I was like, I really want to work with her. I really need to get my business together. I'm trying to see how I'm going to expand on the business that I have, or if I need to go in another direction. So I met with her, and I was able to um, speak with her during several sessions on getting my business now, which is Savvy Global Brands. And when I tell you, it took me several sessions to really define what it was I really wanted to do, because although I work as an event manager and brand ambassador on the side, I'm like, well, I can do this for my own business. And I was like, that is what I really want to do. That's what I really wanted to do. So that's how I ended up pivoting and being able to launch the business that I have now.
Mhm.
And so also with working with her, I was able to get my website together, get my business registered. It was a lot that I was able to, and then I also had a photo session with her, and able to get my first client. So I'm really happy that I was able to make that transition.
Yeah, and I'm glad. One thing I noticed that you mentioned, you was like you went through like a lot of programs and stuff to help with your business get it started, and then like you reached out to someone that was like a mentor to you, which is which is very important because like you said, like a lot of people don't know where to start or what they actually
Yeah.
do, and having an actual mentor or somebody to guide you through this process is helpful. Like, don't do it on your own if you don't know which way you want to go. Seek help, and I'm glad you saw seek help.
Okay. Because sometimes it's hard to pinpoint what it is that you
Mhm.
trying to find, and it's like a needle in a haystack trying to find someone that's really going to pinpoint what direction you need to go in or how you need to focus on your business. So that was really helpful, being able to find a brand strategist.
Awesome. So what advice will you give those who need to pivot their business? Like, whether we want to admit it or not, we're going to go into a recession. So how or what advice would you give someone to go ahead and prepare now, to go ahead and pivot now? Because like the pandemic was just like what's a shocker to everybody.
For everybody.
Came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere, and and a lot of us had to pivot in order to like stay afloat and maintain. So I guess like like what advice would you give? Because a recession is coming. Like, so people are going to have to pivot again, whether they realize it or not.
And
But
the crazy part is a lot of entrepreneurs came out of the pandemic. That's the most, insane part about it. But the advice I would give to any entrepreneur is use your resources. Also find a mentor, it's like I have been able to do. There is a local program called SBDC. They're actually a government program. They offer a lot of uh, ways for you to get your business plan together, or different workshops that you can utilize for marketing, for any type of business basics that you need help, you need a coach, you need a mentor. That's a very good referral that I would mention. Because even recently, I had reached out to them to do an SEO uh, report data on my website
Mhm.
to determine what did I needed to to improve in, what I need to switch around to make my website more appealing and more attractive to customers to go to. And so they did a layout of that. And with that said, I reached out to them again. I'm like, okay, I need to figure out how to read this report. How do I need to, understand it? So they went over that with me. But also too, when I reached out to them, they was like, well, you need to do a business plan. I'm like, well, I really didn't need a business plan for this particular business, even though I did have one for the business I had previously. So I said, well, let me just do it anyway. And I really thought that was really helpful for them to even provide that. So it allowed me to get that business plan together. And so basically, for any entrepreneur, use those resources, get a mentor, even network with people within your your industry. If it's health, if it's
Mhm.
marketing, if it's tech, if it's anything, network with people within your industry so you can focus on what areas you need to do within your business.
Yeah, I'm glad you said all those things. Like a lot of people don't take advantage of like the government programs that are out there. Like I'm trying to get into it more, and then I'm trying to also make myself a resource so I could be a mentor because I'm learning a lot of resources so I can help other people. So all those things, like you said, are very important and very essential, especially the business plan. With this recession possibly hitting, you might have to, apply for some type of line of credit and stuff like that. And they actually are requesting business plans now more frequently, more than we know.
Mhm.
Like that's one of the essential things they ask for besides your financials and how what your bank accounts and stuff and your financials look like. They also ask your projections, which is your business plan. So all those things are important. So I'm glad that you did came and share, all those tips that help you.
Mhm. And something that I learned recently also too is as far as like grants and loans,
Mm-hmm.
even they call them angel loans,
Mm-hmm.
different lenders that help you in different stages. What I learned recently, like once you, it could be, it depends on the person and their business. But what I learned recently is when you're asking for those loans, you have to keep asking for them at different stages of your business for it to keep maintaining. I was like, I did not know that. I thought you get a loan and you be set.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on how you want your business to pivot or how if you want to expand, say for example, if you got a product and that product is on the shelf, with certain products, especially if you put it in a big box store, you have to have so much money to put it in the store, then you have to have so much money to have the value that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you that goes back to me explaining that you have to, again, if you don't have that revenue, you have to get another loan from a lender. I said, this is interesting. That's something it didn't fathom to me because I'm thinking like once you get that loan, you said you're gonna buy your business. It's like if you go on that route, it's like you have to ask for different loans at different stages, depending on what type of business you have.
Yeah. Yeah. But knowing all the different resources and grants and stuff out there is very important and very essential.
Right.
So, like I said, the mentorship and stuff is very, very helpful. The government programs are very helpful to look into.
And like you said, is especially if you're looking for grants or loans, it's very important to have your business plan together because that's just something that they really look at. You want to know your projections, what your business plan layout is, so they would know the lender would need to know that so they know what they can offer you.
Yeah. Yeah. So Shavonne, that's all the questions that I have for you. Do you have anything else you want to share? Like what type of services and stuff that you're offering now? I know you mentioned you do brand investing and then you also do event planning, but what are other services that you're offering now at this time?
Yes, I am really looking for clients that really need help with virtual assistants for their business or even also do event management so I can help with events as well. So those are my two primary services that I provide outside of the other services such as the social media management, brand consulting, and I do public speaking as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So Miss Shavonne, I'm going to share your social media handle so you can tell our listeners how they can get in contact with you if they would like to render any of your services.
Okay. Yes, and again, I'm Shavonne. I'm an event manager, brand consultant, brand ambassador and speaker. You can follow my website. You can go on my website for Savvy Global Brands. It is www.savvyglobalbrands.com. And my personal page is Savvy Shavonne So Savvy. That's my first name, So Savvy. And then my business page is Savvy GB Official.
And all right, you guys, if you want to get in contact with me, you can do so. My number is 910-317-0396. You can shoot me an email at contact@mjfinancial.biz. You can visit my website, www.mjfinancial.biz. You can find this episode on Spotify, you guys. Anchor is now owned by Spotify. And you can find the playback for this video on the YouTube channel for MJ Financial Management. So thank you once again, Ms. Shavonne, for being on the show. I highly appreciate you.
Of course. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And all right, you guys, we will see you on the next episode of Tips with T.